this webinar will be a combination of agentic solutions. It will be related to Claude Code, but also to some other agents that we're seeing it get a lot of tractions in the last few months. Okay, sneak peek, we're going to talk about Hermes agent a bit at the end. Click. Okay, just to give you maybe a short introduction and why we are here and why we are organizing this kind of webinars. So my name is Tibi. I'm Tiberiu Socaci, but everybody calls me Tibi. I'm the co-founder of Makeitfuture and Flow Grammar Club. I'm based in Romania, in Cluj. I have about 10 years experience into enterprise corporation, and back in 2019 I decided to start a company for helping other businesses automate and digitize their processes. So that's Makeitfuture, and we've been selected as the AI company of the year in 2025 by Make, and also we were the partner of the year for Make in 2024. So that's a bit to understand about us. We are based in Romania. We have around 30 developers. We work with a lot of different big companies. I'm not going to stretch this out too much. If you want to learn more about us, please check out our website. The important part is I think this kind of gives us a bit of relevance why we think to do this kind of webinars and help others achieve similar processes. Okay, I'm gonna go a bit about how is AI, how is working with AI today, what to expect from AI, and what to expect from AI agentic solutions. So working with AI changes a lot. Okay, we started 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, and it started with simple AI queries, right? And this is also the fast way of getting answers from a fast model. You have a fast model gives you a very fast answer. It's very, very cheap. Can be used very easily into automation or when you just need a simple answer. But at the same time, the success rate of that is not very good. Okay, if you use it for a complex task, most of the times it will give you a bad answer. As well, it requires a lot of human intervention to really understand was the answer good or not, and then follow with that. If you then look what happened around 8-9 months ago when reasoning model were added, it's where the AI started to think about or to write down their tokens, look over it, verify, reason around it, and then give you an answer. And that's where the success rate of this answer went from 10% maybe to around 50%, even more depending on how complex that task is. And the human intervention starts to be less. To be noted, cost goes up around 5 to 10 times when you start using a reasoning model. And then you have agentic harness solution, things like Claude Code, things like Codex from OpenAI ChatGPT, things like Hermes agent, OpenClaw, and so on, where this agent or agentic solutions have in their orchestration a lot more tools, a lot more rules on how to run. It runs over the same loop multiple times. The cost goes up even 100 times more than a simple request, but the success rate goes 70% plus up, and the human intervention gets lower. So that's where this new harness solution open up opportunities where a company can apply solutions that are either running by itself or with a very little human intervention. So depending on how complex that is. So it can be autonomous. What really changed the things in the last few months with this harness solution is the introduction of AI agent skills. What that really is, you have a skill that captures the knowledge from us, from humans, from processes, from companies. What that really means, to explain that simply, you have, compare it to a cookbook. You have a recipe. If you follow that recipe, you will get the expected result. If that recipe is good and it's improved and it's tested, the more you test it, the better the end result and the product would be. That's very similar to what the AI agent did. You create a skill for the AI agents. That skill is processed. Once that skill is run and improved and tested, you will end up with a similar result, even though you're running that autonomously with an AI agent. Okay. Skills to focus on. There's two big, from my perspective, two big type of skills. On one side, there's capability uplift, which are skills that just help AI to do simple capabilities that are not easily explained so far. Things like, okay, how to manage a PDF, how to create a PDF, how to manage an Excel file, how to create a PowerPoint, and so on, how to generate a file. These kind of skills will be eventually obsolete, because the better the module get, it will start to have this embedded into the model. So we will not need these kind of skills going forward. However, there is a second category of skills which have encoded preference of our processes, which is related to how we prefer doing a process. We've been working with tens, thousands, hundreds of companies on their sales processes. Every sales process in every company is a bit different. It has their own particularities. It has the preference of those business owners, of business managers that prefer doing that sales process in a certain way with their personal preferences. And so this encoding of preference will always be there. You will always want to have a quotation creating your way. You will always want to have a review doing your way. You will always want to draft your way. So this encoded preference will never go away. So my recommendation is focus on having those encoded preferences type of skills. Every time you work on something, create that skill. That skill is what's going to help an AI go to the next level. There was a very recent. There's a few posts from the CEO of YC Combinator, Y Combinator in Silicon Valley, where they are looking for solutions on how can you for companies practically that want to build solutions to translate from the daily work of people, by probably by recording or by different ways, how you can translate the day-by-day work into skills for AI. That's this kind of skills is what's going to make the agents autonomous. Otherwise, you cannot really do that. So what are self-evolving apps? This is a concept that we introduced few weeks back, and it's a combination of how to use Claude Code or Codex in combination with your own interface. We've been doing a few tools inside for Makeitfuture where we realize that if you want to agentify a process, or even have Claude Code as an assistant, the chat interface, it's not always good enough. What that means, if you try to create a quote, or you try to review, even reviewing a list of emails, right? You go over 100 emails, you ask, okay, can you put this in categories? Can you do certain things for me? You realize that you want to have some buttons around. You want to be able to give feedback and jump into and seeing more details. And these kind of limitations, we realize that it's not always the easiest way to just do it in the chat interface. So we come up with a concept that can work in combination with Claude Code, but at the same time give you the flexibility of the interface that you need. So how those applications really work, you have on one side the specialized interface, and you have the chat application, which is really Claude Code. This interface just talks inside your terminal, with the agent of your preference. Okay, so all of these agents, Codex or Claude Code, have this CLI command line interface running in the back, which you can have it streaming information to a chat app. I know we're going a bit more technical here. You don't need to really understand maybe all this. There's a web page where you can read the documentation if you want, and there's a skill if you want to use Claude Code to create your own application like this. But practically everything that happens inside this application goes towards Claude Code or towards the agent of your preference. And then this Claude Code runs inside the folder that's defined for this application. And this local folder, or it can be a VPS if you're doing an application for your company, is the working environment for your application. So you have a working folder, you have the instructions of the agent. That's where you define the different permissions for the different executions options of that agent. You have there defined the MCPs, you have there the app skills, you have there the conversation history, and so on. For example, if you want to have like an application that has that already defined for all the company, you can define that automatically in this application, and every user that comes in has access to the same MCPs, has access to the same skills, and so on. Okay, so maybe let me show you what I mean by that, how that would look like. So to give you an example, this might fail in demo. This was an idea I created at the end of last week. So I was looking. I have a skill that's looking over my email. Okay, so I wanted to have I put my emails into different categories, and I wanted somehow to a fast way to go over those emails. And when I was doing that, if I try to do that in an interface, that can work. I can ask Claude to go get my emails. I'm already connected over MCP, so I can get Claude to go those emails. And I did an exercise here this morning, right? So I have here like invoices, and I have here some archive now instructions, but I cannot really do anything from this interface, right? So if I want to do it now, I need maybe to have a link towards my towards the email, or go inside Gmail and do it, or things like that, right? So in order to be simpler, I said to Claude, okay, create me an interface that we still can talk about that. But I also have some additional actions to it, right? So if I want to go and see the content of an email, I can come inside here and open that directly. Or if I just want to see the body, the application will just bring me the body directly from Gmail, and I can see directly in the app. I hope this is going to work now, but you get the point of this kind of applications. If you want to have a reply, you can write the reply directly here and add it as draft, or add it as a reply towards the interface, right? So it's a combination of a specialized interface, but having Claude running in the back the analysis of those emails. The good things about this is that it uses skills in the back, right? So if now I go back and say, hey, you missed the trial period that I got, sorry for the black text there, that I got should not be archived. This is something I need to test. Do not archive this kind of emails. Update the skill. So because this uses a skill in the back, the AI, when it runs, if I give it if I give it feedback inside this interface, it will also update the skill. So next time it runs, it will know exactly what it needs to do. Also, this interface, the different categories that you see here are not really defined by the application. These categories are dynamic, and Claude inside the skill has defined what categories need to put there. If I want to define a different way, I will update that skill. It will define that, and it will modify that application. So next time I get only 3 categories or more categories or whatever. Okay, so think about this as an example of a very simple application that runs on my computer, and and it can be a contract reviewer, it can be a quotation creation, whatever. Maybe to give you another example, I have a quotation application in Makeitfuture. Again, if I want to go and create a quotation for my business, for a business, right? Let's say I have a new customer. I go there, I say, hey, help me create a quote for, I'll use Blue Coffee as an example, using Makeitfuture skill. So if I do that inside Claude Code, it will, or inside the chat, it will help me with that skill to create that quotation. The problem is I will need to go always into this step by step, into the chat, responding to the different options, responding with the different feedback. Hey, change this, change that. It will do it. Will it be the best and the easiest way to do it? No. So in order to have a more structured way of doing that, um, we created a different interface, which is a skill for creating quotes and running this on a page where there's a step-by-step process when we do that, right? I have first give me the files, so then I can go and upload those files automatically. So I have some files prepared here. I put the files in. I say analyze. The process will start analyzing. It will go into the next step, asking me for the um, different information that it needs. Let's wait. This might take 30 seconds or so to get it analyzed. If you have any comments, by the way, don't hesitate to use the comment section. Send your questions, and I'm happy to answer. Okay, so you see, there was the requested scope. We get here some details around what's required from a Makeitfuture preference of what are the kind of things that we need to define, right? So then I might want to change that. I come here and say, hey, this is not a high, this is a medium complexity. Hey, this is not euro, maybe I want it in dollars. This is not English, maybe I want it in Romanian, and so on, right? So by having a dedicated interface, I can really um, help the user have an easier path going towards the different steps of that skills. But again, all this data is coming from the skill. So if I update the skill, it will also update this interface. Okay. So that's on the self-evolving applications, and I think that's one of the future of how we will use agentic solutions inside companies. To go to my next slide. So the second part of this webinar I'll cover, and this is more targeted towards startups for now, and also for processes or for self-autonomous processes that you might want to build. Some months ago, maybe some of you heard about OpenClaw, and then it was a lot of buzz on social media, on YouTube, about having OpenClaw doing everything for you. But more recently, there was a new agent that was released, Hermes, which is a more simplified, I would say, version of OpenClaw, but at the same time very, very powerful. What I like about Hermes is that it's quick to install. So if you want to install it on your computer, or you install it, I recommend installing it on a computer that's always on, or on a VPS. It takes a few minutes to install. I recommend using Codex to connect to it. Anthropic, Claude kind of bans the accounts that are used with Hermes on the subscription. So you need to use it with an API key. But the easiest way to use this is if you have a ChatGPT subscription, you can automatically connect with your ChatGPT subscription, and it's included in your subscription. What Hermes is very good at, it allows you to do autonomous workflow orchestration. It connects automatically to the different things that you have inside your business, and it's very, very good in self-evolving learning loops. So practically it learns from every process where you give it a task to do. Okay, so I'll present an example of what we did uh, at Makeitfuture with it. We get a lot of okay, let me show you that. So as an owner of the business, I get a lot of emails from different people related to let me see how I can do this nicely. We get a lot of emails from companies targeting Makeitfuture for doing outreach for us. What that really means, they want to sell us services in targeting some other companies for selling AI or automation solutions. And all these emails, or some of these emails, don't have a very good process. What that really means, inside the email, I noticed that they mentioned this Makeitfuture with a bar and then integration automation AI solutions. If you look on our LinkedIn account, that's the name of the LinkedIn account that we have. What that really means is I know automatically that this email was generated by an automation on their side. I also know if I see that email that whoever did that automation didn't do it in a proper manner, because that automation, if it's done properly, should really create a message that's relevant and should create a message where they clean up these kind of things inside of it. So then what I decided to do is like I have my Claude agent that is checking my email. So every time I get an email that has this automation solution, it is forwarded automatically to Stefania. Stefania is the outreach Hermes agent that I installed. By the way, if you want to install this, just go to YouTube, search for how to install Hermes. It's a 5 minutes installation. If you need support with that, don't hesitate to come to us. We're happy to send you some links. We're happy to help you install it on a VPS or things like that. So practically the email gets sent automatically to Stefania. Stefania gets that email and she has some skills, some instructions on writing back an email and targeting and sending automatically an email towards every person that's contacting me for this outreach. If they don't do it correct, I'm targeting that back to create, to offer them services for a better outreach process for them, to help them put AI and agentify that process. How this really works and what I wanted to show here is, can you explain what is, I'm using here Telegram. So Hermes, you can use it in the terminal, but you can also use it in some chat applications. So my chat application of choice in this case is Telegram. You can use it on Slack, WhatsApp, whatever. Explain our outreach process. So when I do that, you're going to see that Hermes, it starts now to type. And Hermes is checking the different skills that it has, and it has a skill that we created together for outreaching the process of this Makeitfuture. You can change, and the beauty of having this kind of an agent, you can change that process however you want. It's just a matter of a conversation between you and the agent, right? So in this case, you see, hey, step one, Tiberiu forwards emails to Stefania, someone pitching Makeitfuture by email, okay? Then Stefania would check the inbox on a daily basis. We identify the outreach is generic or automated. Create we extract the lead details. We do lightweight search. So we search a bit on the web what we're doing. We track the lead in a folder. We track it in a file, so we know exactly where we are with every leads. We create a draft, and then I approve the draft. Okay, and very important, because I just started with this like a few weeks back. I'm always looking and make sure that the draft that it's created is good, and that's why I have here a few emails. You can see, hey, I did not approve a few today, so now I need to go and approve it, and once it's approved, those emails will be sent. If I want this to be an automatic mode, I can just tell it, don't ask me to, and let's do that right now. Don't ask me don't ask me to approve drafts anymore. Just do it automatically. So by doing this, I'm changing now the way the agent works. And it will update the instructions, and it will update the way this works. Now, maybe I want to do something else. How about doing SMS outreach as well? Could we send after 2 reminders an SMS or LinkedIn message to this lead? How could we get their phone number or LinkedIn profile? How could we send the messages? Okay, so I don't know what kind of answer I will get. This is a bit, I'm doing this kind of ad hoc right now, but generally speaking, if we use a platform like Apollo, we should be able to go find the email, find the LinkedIn profile based on the email address, or find the phone number, and then based on that, we could use something like the Twilio or SMS Advert or some other platform to send SMSs. We can use something like Unipile to send connection messages on LinkedIn. And with that, by just talking with this agent, we can create a process that's doing the outreach the way we want for the company. And all it takes is just making sure you create the right process, you have the right tools installed on the agent, and you have the skill that's helping it define step by step what it needs to do. Any questions related to this? Okay, maybe I don't know if we have some submissions around the building a skill together on this live. If not, if you have an example that you might be interested to build right now, maybe add a.
Yes, I saw that people responding and they wanted generally about marketing. But if somebody wants, maybe they can also text now in the comments. But it
Yeah,
was a
okay, so related to marketing, what would be okay, I have an example we can do there. Let me check something. Just let me prepare a few things. Would SEO for marketing, SEO analysis make sense? Yes. Okay. So that's a very nice question. Visualizing the process. So let's go back. We can do that by doing it 2 ways. So I will go to back to Telegram. Can you create a diagram to visualize this process? I've done this before, so I know it has an Excalibur skill, but we could also do that by installing a skill, hypothetically speaking. Okay, so it will look at the different skill it has, and that's kind of some of the nice parts with these Hermes agents. It comes with a good list of predefined skills. So now it will create a skill to visualize the process. And by the way, we implemented similar solutions. We implemented this week to another customer, and that's why I'm hiding a bit of things here, because I don't want to, for privacy reasons, show all these chats. But we implemented a very similar solution for a company doing outreach right now in on some consultancy that they are selling, and because they wanted to have a visual interface of seeing how all this outreach goes, and they had the list of contacts and companies that they bought, we are also into this process. We added the CRM. We use RTO CRM, but you could use whichever CRM that you want. And the practically every contact that's being taken, it goes through a new stage, then it goes into a lead, first email, second email, third email, WhatsApp, and then one interested, one lost lead, and so on, right? So it's processing in a visual mode. So you also have, you're being able to go inside that CRM. Inside that CRM, you're going to be able to see what messages were sent, what replies came from the potential lead, and how many leads with process, and things like that. You can also ask for a report for the agent, and you will get that directly from the agent. But to be visualized around this outreach process, you can do it directly from the inside that CRM. And regardless of the CRM that you're using, you might be using HubSpot or Salesforce or whichever that might be. You can use the again the AI to send that to the CRM. Yes, the replay will get shared. We will post this as well on YouTube, and we will also send the link. I don't believe Hermes. We have a few questions here. I'm answering the questions until this diagram is finished. I don't think Hermes itself will be inserted in Claude as a skill, because Hermes itself is just another agentic harness system. So there's no reason to be included there. What you do with Hermes, hypothetically, you can do as well with Claude directly. The big difference right now is that Claude has their own scheduled tasks, which are not really autonomous. It gives the you could create a cron file, a cron job in your computer to do that, but it's not as easy. It's just more easy right now, and also it's not really allowed. Claude doesn't really allow, or doesn't like too much having that. Okay, so let's see. I have an image and I have an HTML. Okay, so now it used another skill there. I could tell it to use a diagram like Excalibur. But okay, so phase one, you get the lead, TB forwards. Stefania gets the inbox, extracts research, personalized tracks, auto send the email, wait, follow up one, wait for a day, or no, wait for a week, follow up two, wait for. I think it's a good, yeah. It's not perfect. You see, there's some problems here, but you can see that you get a good understanding of what's happening in the back. We're going to do the next, by the way, the next webinar we're going to do in about 2 weeks will be all focused around marketing. Feel free to send us your marketing requests. So our plan is to go do some SEO, do some content, and play a bit with what marketing can do. So in this case, I think it was just HTML. So you can see here that an image was created and a diagram. But can you also do a diagram? I know it has Excalibur. So let's see what that will come up with. And meanwhile, let me code new session. Do you have MCP for DataForSEO? Okay, so I have here a website. Very important. If you're trying to do something for marketing, especially around optimization, you need something for integrated with marketing. DataForSEO, it's a good API for that, as an example. So to give you an example here, I have a website, which is I created this self-evolving app.com. So this is the concept that I just presented to you. If you come on this website, it shows you, okay, what are the different benefits and how you can do it, and it's really open information. If you want to get, you have here a skill to build similar apps. So then, if I want to do maybe an analysis for this application, I'm already inside this folder that I have been developing this website on. And to give you a bit of feedback, I developed this website fully with Claude Code, and it's hosted on Vercel with a custom domain. And so if I say, okay, can you help me optimize this website for SEO and geo? Can we do an audit? What other words should we consider? Anything else I am missing? I am not a marketing expert. You are the expert. So because it has access to the code, it has access to the MCPs, it will automatically do this research, and also it has the geo. It has the right tools to be able to do this. And that's also my preference of having websites today directly custom coded, because you are able to go and update it automatically. So I don't need to go to like a WordPress and manually update it. Code of this website inside the folder. So the link is, let me copy it so I don't write it. Any other questions until this gets executed by AI? Okay, so here we got, by the way, we got the Excalibur. When it uses Excalibur, the nice part about it, you don't even need to have an account. It's just a free open source. It gives you the link. You open that link, it goes directly into the on the website. So if I go on this website now, I have replaced my current, and then I have a process that I can now play with it. Right, and if I need to edit it, I can edit it and things like that. Any other questions until my maybe to show you, because this was processed in the back. So this was the skill for the quotation tool. Maybe interesting, all these sections again come from the skill. So the skill says what are the different sections we include in this quotation. If I change my mind 3 months from now and I update that skill, this application will update by itself. It started creating this process. If I want to give feedback, this interface was created so I can highlight some stuff and say, hey, make this shorter. I can go here and say, I don't know, provocări. Let's remove this section. Make this longer. Whatever. Okay. I get all these things inside. I'm happy with it. I click send. It goes to the AI. It generates again this section. So just to get a feeling on how it is to work with this AI. This starts now generating. You get it automatically generated in the application, in the chat, and you start going back and forth. If you identify while working on one of these processes mistakes, it's enough just to tell inside the application, modify the skill, and next time we don't have it like that. If you're working in a team, we can create rules around that application, so only certain people can update the skill. And also, if somebody else sends feedback, that feedback can be collected into a centralized place, and from that centralized place, a manager will overview that feedback and then implement the feedback inside the skill. So there are some ways to put some observability over that. So now to go back to Claude Code. Okay, so we identify some issues. So now, because I'm already in the folder of the code, I can tell it, hey, just do it. Yes, fix it for me. Any other question, any other marketing? We have a few more minutes. Maybe to use these few more minutes while we're here waiting for the AI. If you have ideas on what you would like to see us demoing for you, or you have ideas on processes that you would like to automate, send us your feedback on our website, on our email address. If you have projects we can help you with, don't hesitate to reach out. We're here to support on that. And if your company doesn't know yet how to use AI within the company, what are the different processes that you could automate or agentify, don't hesitate to reach out. We do discovery sessions. We can help you evaluate your company, evaluate the different processes that you do, and then help you select the right tool set, the right platforms to be able to agentify and create those. Okay. Thanks a lot, everybody, for joining. Looking forward for you joining our next call. Don't hesitate to reach out, and yeah, thanks for your time.